Hi everybody, my name is Noah and welcome back to my channel. So this is my first video in a long time that is sit down and like normal, I guess, for me. I've been doing Vlogmas for all of December up until Christmas, so if you missed any of those, please feel free to check them out. This is going to be a longer sort of video. I am going to be giving you guys a 2020 recap of my life. A big disclaimer, I normally make these videos every single year since I started my channel back in 2016, and basically they are kind of just for me as like a video diary to see what I did that year. Even though this year was far from normal, I think a lot of things went well in my life as well as some bad, so I would like to share all of that with you today. So if that interests you, feel free to stick around. At the end, I'm going to be doing a big montage of a bunch of cute little pictures, as well as talking about my favorite songs and favorite albums and artists this year, because my channel is heavily involved in music as well as I am like as a person, so I just think it's like a 2-for-1 special. So that's what we're gonna do. The setup is very different. If you look, I have a cute little picture thingy hanging. There's a lot to look out here. My tapestry, a lot of distractions because I didn't plan well. But this is where I wanted my ring lights. This is where we are at. So in January 2020, don't really remember anything except for like what happened yesterday, but in January I got my wisdom teeth out. So I started the new year off, and then around like January 8th or something, I got my wisdom teeth out. I didn't have any sort of like infections or anything. They weren't hurting me at all. I just needed to get them out before they started to go south. So I did. And I had a really awesome healing process. I was pretty much not swollen at all, and I was out of it for a little bit until like the night after my surgery. But I was in like a little bit of pain for the first like day or two, and then I was good. At the end of January, I started my spring semester of my sophomore year, and I took over as the director for my a cappella group that I am in charge of up here, Crimson Chords. And we had our auditions at the end of January, so it's so weird to talk and like look back at these pictures because this was all pre-pandemic, so like we were fine, you know what I mean? Like we were all in a room without masks, like near each other. It's just so weird to think about and see these pictures, but yes, I had auditions in January of 2020. So then February started, and I was super involved with my fraternity that I'm involved in up here, Delta Omicron, which is a professional music fraternity, and we just come together to sing for our community and perform and spread musicianship, I guess, for the people around us. And in February, I got to meet my little. We had our like rush events and stuff, and I really didn't think I was going to take a little, but I'm so glad I did. Elijah, I think somewhere right here. This is Elijah and I'll put the picture on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, we are so close, and I appreciate them so much. So Elijah, if you're watching this, just know I appreciate you, and thank you for making my year so wonderful. And then we had a fundraiser for my a cappella group, which was around Valentine's Day. It was my best friends, Elijah, Kennedy, Spencer, and I we all pretty much like ran the fundraiser, like we got all the stuff for it, and then we had a nice little photo shoot for our semester with all of our new members, because we actually got the biggest turnout that we've ever had at the time, which was insane, and I love all of them so much. I'm so grateful to be in charge of that ensemble, because it is my favorite thing about college. So then in March, I was enjoying school, you know, just going about my life before getting on to spring break. So we had a spring break, and we assumed that we were coming back. But they started to talk about moving to online. So at the end of spring break, I realized that I needed more clothes because we were staying another week. So like the Sunday, like the day before I would normally go back to school, I just went up and got more clothes and with my friend Nikki. But then on like that Tuesday, 2 days later, I was like rushed that I had to move out and come back home. So that was insanity. And then I was at home ever since then. So pretty much just in quarantine, not doing anything. I still was considered an essential worker because I worked in a food establishment at Dairy Queen, obviously. So we were drive-through only for a while. Well, we still are. We never went to like indoor seating, and I was working a bunch.
Y'all, I'm for real closing. We close at 9:30. It's literally 9:05, and I'm closing up because I want to go to bed and I am sick of it.
And I was still Zooming with my a cappella group, so that was fun. Zoom was a big part of all of our lives in 2020, I think. I was enjoying the quarantine life at home. It wasn't too bad. I filmed one of my like A Day in the Life of a Quarantine Music Major, which did pretty well on my channel. If you haven't seen it, go check it out because it was like the peak of my quarantine time. That was pretty much all of April. I don't remember April or May literally at all. I don't have any pictures. I pretty much just worked every single day.
1, 2, 3, 4.
However, at the end of April, right before finals week, I did get sick. I don't know if it was the coronavirus, but I had similar symptoms, but very like mild. So I did have a fever for like a day, and I did lose my sense of smelling and tasting for a good like week and a half. But other than that, I pretty much just felt very like floaty in my head because I had a fever and my body was kind of just achy. But I wasn't like sick. I didn't have a cough. I didn't have shortness of breath. I was fine after the fever broke and after I got my sense of smell and taste back, but that was pretty much like the longest part. I never got tested because I felt that my symptoms weren't as extreme if my fever did last any longer than I would have, but it did only last like a day. So I don't know if it was the virus. I kind of think it was, but also I didn't do anything to get it except for work, and that was before masks were like a big deal. Mainly it was just about like gloves, so I don't know what happened there, but maybe I had it. I'm completely fine now. I'm not sure at all. But yeah, like I said, I was working all through May. Once I healed back up, I took 2 weeks off from work because, well, I took 1 week off because I thought that I was fine, and then that night at work I just started to get very hot and just like stuffy because it was so warm in the building, and I was like in tears, and I went home after that shift, and then I just stayed off for another week, and then I finally felt like okay enough to come back. Okay, so then June comes, so school is out at this point, and I'm still just, working and things like that because there's nothing to do. But because I had nothing to do, I started to do YouTube more consistently. I did not think what ended my year was actually going to happen, but I just started to do YouTube, and I had all these ideas. I wanted to do weekly videos, so I decided to post videos every single Saturday, and with that I decided to do live streams every single week, and boy am I glad that I did. I would not be sitting here right now with a ring light and a new camera in my college apartment making this video if it wasn't for the year that I've had with YouTube, and I will talk more about that in a second, but just know that I started to do YouTube consistently. Pretty much I was posting like 1 or 2 times a month, if that, up until quarantine time at like the end of May/June, and then that's where I started every Saturday posting a video, or at least like once a week, sometimes twice a week, and I loved it. I still love it, and like I said, I'll talk more about that in a little bit. So then I got highlights in my hair in June. It's a big, not really that big of a deal for many people, but for me it was because I've never dyed my hair before except for like the temporary box dye from Walmart with just like highlights and stuff. Obviously they're not really here anymore. You can kind of see a little bit, I guess, but not really. But yeah, my best friend Brooke highlighted my hair. She's incredible. So I got that done in the summer before I went to the beach, and that was awesome. My whole summer was pretty much devoted to Rain On Me, the song. Obviously, I wanted to make a cover, so in June I recorded a cover for it. In July, I shot a video for it, and it was released in August. So July was a lot of like prep work with editing the music video and filming it because I do everything myself. I have like no help at all. So that was like a big time sucker of my month of July. Also, I was still doing live streams every single week, and I got approved to be in the YouTube Partnership Program, which means I could start making a small revenue on my videos, and I loved it. That was not the intention when I started it. I was really just bored, but obviously I'm going to take the opportunity if I could, because it helps if I want to upgrade my equipment, and if I want to, provide things for you guys like giveaways and things like that. That is what I do this for, so it's all because of you. And that really just put a big smile on my face when I woke up one morning, because I didn't think that it was going to happen. I knew that it was going to happen because I was tracking my numbers, just because I was very concerned and curious. So I knew my goal was by the end of summer, before I started school, to get approved, and then I got approved in mid-July. And it was all because of the live streams. I started doing live streams every week, and that really helped bring in new people as well as keep people coming back. So I'm so grateful that I did that, and I can't wait to start it again. It's a little tricky now because I'm in school, so I just do them occasionally, but in the summertime, you know that I will be doing live streams every single week again. At the end of July, I went to the beach, which was a lot of fun. I love the beach somewhat. I don't really like sand or anything like that, but I just like being, away from here. And although we were in the middle of a pandemic, this was at a point where the cases were very low. So like March through May, they were very high, and then they started to slow down for the summer, and then they rose back up again. But at this point, they were very low, and we didn't really do much except for just stay in our beach house. So we were very safe, obviously, and it was a whole different environment down there in North Carolina because, like, people were cautious and, they remained safe. Like, I just felt so safe no matter what. But, like, when I'm here at school or just at home in general, Pennsylvania, people are stupid. So, like, I'm terrified everywhere I go. So then in August, like I said, the cases were pretty low, so I was starting to hang out with friends a little bit more. So I did that. And I went to a sunflower field right near my school, actually, and did a little photo shoot, which I used for my birthday post on Instagram. And then, like I said, I was working more. I had my 20th birthday, which was pretty good. Like I said, there wasn't much to do because pandemic, but, I made the most of it for what I could. And then I moved into my apartment, and I started my junior year of college. And I love it here so much. This is my home, and it's grown so much. It was so, different from my room tour video that I did back in August, but now here we are. So September was a little crazy. It was a really busy month because I was coming back to school. I would say that it was the worst month of my life, but also the best. I started September off with a breakup, and I'm not going to talk too much into it because I am, moved on. My ex and I are on great terms. We are completely fine. There is no bad blood. But it was the end of a really long relationship that was a little bit longer than it needed to be, which I think we both feel, but I have nothing but respect for him, and that's all I'm going to say on that. I wish him the best, and just a big thank you for making me the person I am today. In September, like I said, after all of that went down, I think a lot of September was about healing for me, obviously. So I was doing everything I could, every opportunity that I could take, while remaining as safe as possible. But like I said, cases were very low at this point. So I wasn't as scared to do certain things. Remaining safe with my mask at all times, but we had our fraternity initiation because my little couldn't get initiated in the spring because we got sent home. So we had to push it, and we did it at the start of this semester. So that was a great experience because my best friend Kennedy that lives in Texas got to come up because she needed to be initiated as well. So I just got to hang out with all of my friends. It was a wonderful month. I had my a cappella group rehearsals for this semester on Zoom and a little bit in person if they felt comfortable with masks, of course. It was very different, but the numbers were even bigger. Like, we got an even bigger turnout than we did in the spring, which meant a lot, very hard decisions to piece together who we wanted in the group. Elijah is also my assistant director with that, so we work together constantly with things like that. So it was a lot of time that we spent together making these decisions. We had a wonderful photo shoot this semester, and that took place in September. Also, Elijah and I, once they got initiated, we did our musicale, which is just a requirement that we have to do for our fraternity where we perform. So we did it outside to be as safe as possible, and we sang Rain on Me with choreography. I'll throw a little clip in here. Got to see my big. He came just to watch, I guess, for the weekend. So Troy, my big, I haven't seen him since I think February of the beginning of 2020, so it was awesome to see him again. I miss him so much. And then at the end of September, I ended it off on a high. I started to have my friends over consistently from home. Nikki, Britt, and Brooklyn, my best friends of all time pretty much. And that's why I said this was the best month by far, because they have been the biggest help with everything that, you know, kind of like went down in my life this past month, and they still are just the best ever. We used to film, do you guys remember Video Stars? We filmed a video star to the song All Time Low by, who sings that? John Bellion? I'm at an all-time low. I think so. So yeah, we filmed that video back in like 2017, I think, 2016 or 2017, and we stopped it halfway, and we were like, what do we do? Like, what should we like add to this and keep going and like transition? So we didn't tell Britt anything about it. Brooklyn filmed it, and me and Nikki already knew that it was gonna happen. So we set it up. We ended our old clip on Brooke's dining room table, and so we sat on my coffee table to take a picture. That's what we said to Britt, and then Brooke got her phone out, and we had the music hooked up to the speaker, and we were like, just like cover your eyes and go like this, and that's like what the transition was of what we ended on. We ended like this, so we wanted to like start back up like this 3 or 4 years later, and so that was just a great time. Like, it was so fun. There's clips being thrown in right now that you can see, but that was so much fun. Okay, so now we're into October. So at the beginning of October, I launched my Patreon, so I'm going to take a second to plug it here because I love Patreon so much. I want to thank my patrons, Lewis, Brandon, and Paul, for all of the support you have given me this year. You guys are the best, and if you would like to become a patron to start your 2021 year off right, please feel free to subscribe. The link is down in the description. You can get behind-the-scenes content, you can get gifts and giveaways and letters and phone calls from me, and behind-the-scenes footage that isn't posted to this channel on the reg. So then I also went to the Scare House, which is a haunted house in Pittsburgh, right near my house, with my friends Nikki, Britt, Brooklyn, and Brooke's boyfriend Ryan. So we went there, and it was super fun. I felt very safe. They had a great like amount of staff working to make sure people stayed 6 feet apart and had their masks above their nose and things like that. So it was very fun. I was so glad that I was able to do something like that, because this year obviously a lot of things got closed and canceled, so it was nice to do something like that. However, in October, I found out that a lot of our professors in the music department specifically were going to be getting fired for budget cut reasons, and we were not happy about that as a music department as a whole, so we rallied. We rallied for about a good week and a half, and nothing really happened, but we got our voices heard, because now they brought back the musical theater department, which they were going to completely disband, and they revoked one of our faculty's retrenchment letters that they were going to fire. Also in October, I made some new friends, obviously being safe as possible. I feel like I have to disclaim that, everything I say, just being like I'm safe, but I am, because so far, knock on wood, nothing bad has happened to me. Yeah, October was, I think, the start of something really cool. Also in October, Halloween happened, so obviously there wasn't anything going on, and I'm not one to like party at all anyway, but I went to my friend Brooke's house, and a few of our friends got together in costume, and we just hung out for a little bit, and then I drove back up to my apartment later that night. At the beginning of November, like I said, I was still doing YouTube consistently through all of this. I never stopped until Vlogmas, and then I started to go daily. So like since June, I have been posting consistently every single week. I've never missed an upload, and I don't plan to, but I also really want to focus on making my content good. So if that means to like take a break or like take some time to like really make sure things are going well, then that's kind of like what I'm aiming for 2021. But in November, I voted, and then I also received second place and crowd favorite in a talent show that I participated in with my acapella group. I entered us in. It was a Zoom talent show. We had to send in like videos and stuff, and we got second place, which meant we got a cash prize and we got crowd favorite, and that really started up our semester, or I guess like it was kind of in the middle, so it continued our semester in a very good way. I hung out with Nikki a lot in November because she's my best friend. She's like the only person that I've been around lately. We went Black Friday shopping very safely. I feel like I say that way too much, but you know, we were good. We just went to a few stores, and then I guess I kind of skipped around, but I cooked Thanksgiving dinner with my grandma, so I woke up at like 5 a.m., went to her house, completely masked up at all times, but like I said, cases were low at the time, and then after Thanksgiving they started to get really bad again. But yes, the cases were very low, so I went to my grandma's house and cooked Thanksgiving dinner with her. For my family, we did not have Thanksgiving this year, so we just delivered contactlessly to my family members and then just left. But we took eggnog shots because that is our tradition that we do every year. We just pour a little shot glass of eggnog, and we are the only two people in our family that enjoy it, so we had to toast to making Thanksgiving dinner together in 2020. So the last month, December, here we are. Like I said, I was limiting who I was seeing because after Thanksgiving break, cases started to really rise. For my last 2 weeks of school, a lot of my friends had family members that tested positive over Thanksgiving break, and so I really was not trying to see many people. So Nikki was about my only person that I saw while I was still in school in December. So that happened, and then I was doing Vlogmas. So I started Vlogmas off, which was a really awesome thing. My life was very boring this month, or this year, I guess, because like I said, I didn't do much. So I felt kind of bad about that, but at the same time, I knew going into it that there wasn't going to be much happening because we're in the middle of a pandemic, you know. But Vlogmas was, you know, very, very fun for me. December 10th was my Christmas concert. That is something I'm never, ever, ever going to forget. I set up a whole entire set in my living room out there, and I performed on the piano as well as I just sang a little bit, and I did a giveaway, and I just did a whole Christmas concert. It was almost 2 hours long, and it was a great experience. I will never, ever forget it. So if you did watch that, thank you so much. If you didn't watch it, it's still on my channel. I know Christmas is over, but it is there for you if you care. But then at the end of December, my best friend Audrey came home last week from California. It was vlog day 23, I think, if you want to look at it. I finished out my year right with Brooke, Britt, and Nikki with her birthday. Her birthday is December 28th, so we celebrated with her. We got her a little pie because she wanted pie, so we got a pie. We made dinner for her, and we just hung out. We played Just Dance. We played Yahtzee. We played cards. We just played games. 3 of the most things that I learned this year, 3 of the top things that I learned. So the biggest thing is my self-worth. With everything closing down, a lot of people losing their lives, it just taught me to be thankful for my health and to know my self-worth, that I am a good person inside and out. And it takes a lot to make me not a good person, and I try to avoid that at all costs, but I'm trying to get more involved in my emotions and, you know, describing what I want, because to be quiet is kind of not a good thing. So just knowing my self-worth, knowing to be proud of myself and to put myself first in certain situations is very important to me, and I am doing good at learning and growing with that. Also, I guess tying into that, making time for myself to have fun. The biggest thing that I learned this year was to wear a mask. If you don't wear a mask, goodbye. Although 2021 is approaching, everyone always says they're excited for a fresh start and to make their New Year's resolutions and whatever. That is fine, but you have to remember that because we are in the middle of a pandemic still, tomorrow, although it is a new year, it's just another day. No matter how you look at it, it is just another day, and we are still battling this pandemic. So until we start stepping up and doing our part, whether that means that you get the vaccination, you wear your mask, or you continue to wash your hands and social distance yourself from others, let's not ruin another year. So please, please, please just follow all these procedures. Don't think that just because we're going into a new year that this is just going to go away, because it's really not. Okay, so, sorry, my camera stopped recording because I hit 30 minutes. I want to talk to you about music, because this is a big, big thing in my channel. I always do reaction videos, and I listen to a lot of music all the time. So I'm going to be going in order of my favorite albums of 2020. I compiled a list together of 8 of them, so I'm going to talk about them and give you some of my favorite tracks. If you don't know the album, the ones that you can listen to, because they are the best. Opinions only here. Don't get so crazy. So number 8 is the Bad Karma EP by Gabby Hanna. I've been getting into Gabby Hanna a lot. I love her music. A lot of people really don't like her, and I don't see any issue with her, so I support her and her music. I really like the songs Bad Karma and Happy on this EP. There's only 5 songs, so it's not long. Number 7 is The Album by Blackpink. My favorite song on this album is Pretty Savage, Ice Cream, and Love to Hate Me. Number 6 is Smile by Katy Perry. Some of my favorite tracks on this album are Only Love, Not the End of the World, and the title track Smile. I like all the songs, like I said, but these are the 3 that really jump out to me, that I gravitate towards, that I gravitate Okay, you know what I mean. Number 5 is Love Goes by Sam Smith. I think this is a great album. Not my, I would say I didn't get the full experience with it. It did come out in October, so I have not listened to it as many times as I would like to really get, you know, very familiar with the songs. But some of my favorites are So Serious, Love Goes, Another One, and To Die For. Number 4 is Treat Myself by Meghan Trainor. This came out in January, so this was like early in the year, and this was my quarantine album. I listened to it all the way up until like May consistently, and then I really like kind of just took a break from it. But some of my favorite songs on this one are After You with AJ Mitchell. That song is incredible. Genetics with the Pussycat Dolls. Blink, Baby Girl, and Wave. Number 3 is Plastic Hearts by the one and only Miley Cyrus. Miley released this on Thanksgiving. She released this album, and it's been on repeat ever since. I love all the songs, but my favorites are Hate Me, Angels Like You, Plastic Hearts, and Midnight Sky. So number 2 is Chromatica by Lady Gaga. This came out in May. It was supposed to come out in April, but it got pushed. And it's okay because it was a great thing to wait for. I love every single song so much, but my favorites are Sign From Above, 911, and Fun Tonight. And obviously, number 1 is Positions by Ariana Grande. This has been my most played album of 2020, and it only came out 2 months ago. I have over 1,100 plays of this album because I listened to it multiple times all the way through every single day. My favorite track on this album is 630, Safety Net, Just Like Magic, and Obvious. I have a good soft spot in my heart for POV and 3435, but they are getting mainstream, so I just kind of like to stray away from that, even though I do listen to them very often. Some honorable mentions for albums because they did not come out in 2020. These albums that I talked about previously were only albums that came out this year, but the honorable mentions that I listened to this year that I fell in love with that I did not listen to elsewhere or like other times before is Prism by Katy Perry and Born This Way by Lady Gaga. These 2 albums saved me in quarantine. I got into them in like March, right when quarantine started, and I've listened to them ever since because no one was releasing music. So this last thing, I'm going to be giving you my 10 standalone tracks. Now these songs may be on an album, but I'm pretty sure most of them are not. So these are just standalone tracks that like singles that came out, not singles as in like they're on the radio, but singles as in like they just came out, like artists just pushed them out and they didn't put them on an album, pretty much. So this is in order, I think, from my from like bottom to top. So number 10 is Shut Me Up by Gabby. She released this in October. I like this song a lot, but I put it at number 10 just because I didn't get enough time to listen to it, but it is a very good song. Number 9 is I Dare You by Kelly Clarkson. I don't remember when this came out. I want to say February. I like this song a lot. I haven't listened to it a lot, but I'm very excited for her next album because Kelly is one of my favorites. Number 8 is the Savage remix by Megan Thee Stallion with Beyonce. I don't listen to Megan that much. I did listen to her album once through, and it's not my favorite thing in the world just because that's not my kind of music. And I know this song is on the album, I believe, at the end, but I'm putting this remix on there because this remix, Beyonce saved it. Like, this song was good, but Beyonce made it like incredible. This is one of my favorite tracks of 2020, period. Number 7 is Lonely by Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber has had a great year releasing all these random singles because they're all very good, so it's like kind of confusing, like, whoa, what happened? But I really enjoyed this song by him. Number 6 is Anyone by Miss Demi Lovato. She had a wonderful year as well. This song she performed at the Grammys and it was so emotional. It was her big comeback and she did amazing. This song is beautiful. Number 5, also by Demi, is I Love Me. I think this song is so cute, playful, and fun. Number 4 is Therefore I Am by Billie Eilish. This was a recent release, but this is one of my favorite songs by Billie. Number 3, again, we have Justin Bieber with Holy. I think Chance the Rapper is in this as well. I love this song so much. Like, I will never skip it if it comes on. I always blast it if it's on the radio. This song is just so good. I am so obsessed with it, pretty much. Number 2 is Still Have Me by Demi Lovato. I love this song so much. One of my favorite songs that she's ever done. Number 1, I think this is a perfect song to end the video with and sum up our year. Stuck With You by Ariana Grande with Justin Bieber. This song is so cute, their vocals are incredible, and it was the perfect song to release during quarantine time. Alright, so that ended my 2020 recap. I I think overall my year was pretty good, despite, you know, the hardships that we all went through this year. I am very excited for 2021. I hope you all have a wonderful, safe, happy, and healthy rest of 2020, and I hope you have a wonderful year. You guys know I love you so much. I would not be where I am today without you guys. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You have no idea how much this means to me. Just being able to sit here and make content for you guys, it makes me the happiest in the world, like you have no idea. I love you, be safe, and I will catch you in 2021.
I'm a savage.
Ratchet.
Oh my god. Not me.
Woo!
Good morning.
Getting a phone call.
It's gonna die again.
Subscribe. This is the channel to subscribe to. If you're gonna subscribe to any.